Another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Westbrook Brewing Company out of Charleston, South Carolina. This beer is what was originally their first anniversary beer, but now it's an annual release. It's called Mexican Cake. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this, but just to explain it to everyone who might watch this. It is. Here's just a description of the story about it. It says, way back in December of 2011, we brewed our first anniversary beers, a serious Imperial Stout aged on cacao nibs, vanilla beans, cinnamon sticks, and fresh Habaneros. So delicious, we decided to bring it back once a year. So it specifically says on here, best consumed fresh, do not age or cellar. That is true with these Mexican style stouts. It is, like I said, it's an Imperial Stout. It's 10.5 ABV. So I haven't. I'm always seeking out the barrel aged versions of these because they're fantastic. But I haven't had the base beer in a long time, so I'm kind of excited that I was able to get a fresh bottle of it down here. This came out like right at the end of April, so it's only like 2 months old, which still should be fine. I am going to pour probably pretty much a full pour, just because I want to give it some time to warm up too, because it's not real cold, but I like trying it when it's colder, like not on a inappropriately cold, but colder, and then letting it warm up as I drink it. So as you can see, it pours a pretty much jet black color with a slightly less than a finger's worth of a nice tan colored head. It's not really going anywhere, which is nice. So the aroma is of some dark chocolate. There's a little bit of dark fruit, and I shouldn't say definitely, but because it's not that strong, but there is for sure a little bit of a pepper character. Not really getting any of the vanilla. It's a little better than I remembered. My thought on this was always that they're one of the few where it's not. I never thought the base was bad, but I thought, a lot of times barrel aging something will bring something to the next level, but it already has to be like a pretty good beer. But for whatever, I didn't think that this was necessarily a top shelf level base beer, but the barrel aged versions of these, in my opinion, are some of, if not the best barrel aged versions of Mexican stouts. I mean, I put them right up there with barrel aged Abraxas, Voodoo, Grande Negro. I mean, those are probably and then Cake. Those are probably the three biggest ones that are consistently made, I would say. I can't think of other ones that aren't one-offs. But I would normally put the barrel aged versions of this right up there with them. And I haven't had regular Brax. Oh, and then Hanapu. Sorry, that's the other one. This is way, way better than Hanapu. And to me, that beer changed so much since they got bigger. But yeah, this is really good. Sorry. I'm just trying to think about all the flavors that I'm getting before I spew it out there. So, Right up front, I mean, it is similar to the nose, where it is a lot of dark chocolate, and a little bit of a dark fruit, which, uh, to me would normally be a turnoff, but it's minimal. Then there's a big rush of cinnamon. It's not fake tasting at all, though. It's and to me, it's an appropriate amount to say that it's there, and to kind of work with the big alcohol and the pepper heat. So after the cinnamon is where I get a little bit of vanilla, and then a good amount of burn in the front of the tongue and the swallow. It's no problem for me because I like spicy stuff, but I could see this being, to me, the barrel aged versions are, because they're barrel aged. You know, they've had time to sit and mellow and whatever, are always have less heat than the fresh version of this. But I don't think it's too much heat. I think it's perfect, because if you're going to say you're putting habaneros in something, like, it's got to have some heat, or what the hell's the point? So to me, it's perfect. It's just enough for you to know it's there, and like really slow you down from drinking it too fast, because it is a really tasty beer. But it's definitely not, you know, anything where I'm like, oh, I need a separate drink of water. Like, it's not burning my tongue like eating a habanero or some like habanero wings or something like that. And then even after that initial burn, I get like more of a rush of that deep, dark, like fudgy chocolate that really rounds out the beer. And I'm really glad that I got a bottle of this just to drink it by itself. You know, and not just keep going after the barrel aged variants, because it just makes you remember. I shouldn't say remember, because as I was saying, I thought I remembered that I didn't think the base was nearly as good as the barrel aged version. And I still don't think this is good as the better barrel-aged versions, but it is still, for how good the barrel-aged versions are, it makes sense that this is the base of it, because this is really good. And if you took that and just put it in bourbon or red wine or Cavados, whatever, apple brandy, whatever. I have yet to try, even the tequila one was good. I have yet to try any of this past year's besides the port one. The port one was absolutely fantastic. I would recommend anyone going after that. And it's trading for not that much. It's like $70 secondary, which to me is a steal for how good that beer is. But other than that, I haven't had the other one. I haven't had the bourbon, I haven't had the scotch, and I haven't had the Cavados. But I do have, between myself and friends, we have the rest of them, so I'll probably be drinking those soon, so I'm looking forward to that as well. But yeah, really, really good beer. If you like the style at all, I'd absolutely go after this if you haven't had it before. If you like it or don't like it or whatever, if you haven't had this year's batch, which I've also heard seems to vary, I don't want to say drastically, but vary a good bit, I would seek this one out, because in my opinion, this is better. This is better than any time I've ever had the regular version. So I don't know if this batch is particularly better, or this is just the freshest that I've gotten it, because anytime I had it before was when I was in Pennsylvania, so I wasn't necessarily getting it right away. It's nice to be able to just buy this off the shelf, and it's not a shelf turd though. I mean, anywhere who got bottles got like a case, maybe two, and they sold out within an hour. So it's still not the easiest thing to get, but it's, you know, it's not that hard to get either. So I would definitely, if you haven't had it, I would seek it out. It's really good beer, even the base, without being barrel aged. It's funny saying base because there's so much stuff in it. It's just not barrel aged. So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. I don't know how much this was. I'm trying to remember, but I honestly don't think it was anything crazy. I think it was like 16, 17. I don't know. It was under $20, so in my opinion, it's definitely worth it. I would buy, if I could buy more of this right now, I would buy a couple more bottles I don't think I buy more than that just because you want to drink them fresh, and you know it's hard to justify crushing one of these like every weekend or something. So yeah, that's all I got on this guy. Another really nice beer from Westbrook. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.